Hello, my name is Sidney and welcome to my Publishing 100 series. This is Publishing 103. In this series, I'm going to teach you how to get your publishing dream team together. There are certain skills you need if you want to actualize your dream of becoming a published author. So what I need you to do now is get something you can write on and get ready to receive some actionable nuggets. Till then, see you on the inside. The first skill that I would normally advise my clients to get is that of an editor. Now you need to really look for a skilled editor that is conversant with the area of book publishing. Not every editor is a book editor, okay? There are some editors that are skilled more in the area of maybe shorter pieces like magazine editing or newspaper editing. But you need an editor that is very knowledgeable when it comes to book editing manuscripts, so to speak. So an editor is very valuable because an editor will be able to point you out and raise questions about your style, maybe examples, repetition, not only typos, but an editor overall. If you work with an editor properly, an editor should help you improve your writing because an editor is neutral. And one of the mistakes that new authors make is that they want to edit the book themselves, or they give their book or manuscript to a friend to edit. Now, I don't have anything against giving your friend a book to read or edit, but if they are a professional editor, or maybe they work in the publishing industry, especially book publishing, in an editorial capacity, that will be good. But don't give your book to someone who will just correct the typos. You need to give your book to someone who really understands how a story flows, or how a book flows, or can raise professional questions or give comments that will help you in your book, because an editor is a valuable resource. And so one of the mottos I have is that when I find a good editor, I keep that editor. So I have two editors that I work with, and they are really quite good. And so I make sure I go the extra mile to make sure that they are properly remunerated, properly rewarded for their work. I really don't like economizing on a very good editor, because good editors are not easy to find. I've worked with all sorts of editors. And don't forget, I have worked as an editorial assistant. That was my first publishing job. So you need a good editor, and a good editor will help you over time. And one of the things you should do is you need to build a relationship with your editor. And many times my clients over time build very cordial relationship with my editor, because what happens is after the first book, they really love the work and they go back for the second book, maybe even the third book. So my point is made here. You will need the skills of a proficient and competent editor to help you and make your book read better. Some editors are good in fiction, some in non-fiction. Some of them are good in both fiction and non-fiction. But my point has been made. You need the skills of an experienced editor to make your book read better, to help you overall in your writing career. And so you need to really go look for an editor. I'm going to tell you how to do that in the next episode, but it's something that I highly recommend. I don't like to economize on an editor. Now, the second kind of skill, the second you need in your dream team, is a very competent cover designer. Have you heard the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? Guess what? Nowadays, because of technology, there are a lot of visual things around. So people tend to judge a book by its cover. So when you are getting your team together, you need to go look for a skilled graphic designer who is an expert in designing book covers. Now, there are some graphic designers who are experts in designing maybe business stationery like complimentary cards or letterheads or logos, but I'm talking about someone who over and over again knows and understands the art and the science of designing book covers. I will tell you more about how to get a good cover designer. Please don't make the mistake of going out and giving your friend who is just, maybe plays around with Photoshop or Illustrator and does it as a hobby and does not really understand what he or she is doing except for his or her project. You don't need that kind of a skill. You need someone who is a professional at designing book covers. Now, the third person you need on your dream team is that of a layout designer. Formerly in the industry, we call them a typesetters, people who actually typeset and make your text come alive, make it look much better in terms of the fonts and the arrangement and the formatting. There are loads and loads of good typesetters or layout design specialists out there. You need to make the reader experience very good, and so we have people who specialize in book layout. They are quite good at making your book really look nice, because look, out there, people are spoiled for choice. So after typing your book out in perhaps Microsoft Word or another writing software, the next step, of course, after your book has been edited, is you need to give it to a layout designer. So a layout designer will make sure your book looks nice. They're going to deal with the preliminary pages. They will insert the table of contents, the copyright page, the chapter headings, the subheadings, and so on and so forth. There is so much to know and so much to learn from the skills of a layout designer. Another skill that you're going to need, the fourth skill, is that of marketing. Marketing is what ties everything together. Don't forget that your book will not sell if you don't do promotion and marketing. If you're not very good at promoting and marketing, you need to hire someone who understands this process. You need to actually pay them. So a lot of people dabble into maybe Facebook marketing or Instagram or Amazon. So Facebook is quite very good at that. They've got a very advanced marketing interface. Facebook paid advertising. They are very targeted. You might need to learn that. And also, you might also need to learn Amazon ads advertising. So marketing is what ties everything together. No matter how good your book is, if you don't market your book, it's not going to sell. It's not going to go anywhere. You are competing against hundreds and thousands of books on Amazon and other book platforms on the internet rather. So let me recap. You need these skills. You need the skills of an editor. You need the skills of a cover designer. You need the skills of a layout designer. And of course, you need the skills of someone who is conversant with marketing and selling online, even offline. Now, the fifth skill, of course, in terms of printing, you need to understand how to work with printers. Printers are specialized people. You need to know what kind of files and how you need to prepare your files for printing and then submit it to the printer, because it's what you submit to the printer that the printer will print. So you need to understand things like dimensions, things like fonts, how to embed fonts in your PDF, how to get your files to be print ready. Now, printers have different printing specifications, and they will tell you. Sometimes they do have documents that they'll give to you to make sure that your file is print ready. And they are quite helpful in making sure that they get the right file, because many of them are quite experienced in their job and they want to do a very good job for you so that your book will come out exactly as you see it in the digital format. So let's recap. You're going to need the experience of an editor, a good editor. You're going to need a good cover designer. You're going to need a layout designer. You will need somebody who is good at marketing, because your book needs to be marketed. If you don't market your book, it's not going to sell. And of course, you need to know how to handle a printer. I hope I'm very sure anyway, I'm not hoping, I know you've gotten quite some good nuggets from this part of Publishing 100 series, Publishing 103. The next one is going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to show you in Publishing 104 the kinds of platforms you can go to get the kind of skills that you need in publishing your book. I know that you've been inspired and you are now thinking of what you need to do with your book or your manuscript. I've showed you the kinds of skills that you need to get your book put together, the kind of dream team, the skill sets that you need. In Publishing 104, I'm going to share with you the platforms you need to go to get these skills and what you need to do to attract the best talents. Till then, see you on the inside.